Hello everyone, welcome back to Firepower Report, where we break down the latest developments in modern conflict, examining the technology, tactics, and consequences behind headlines. Today we're turning our attention to a dramatic event, Ukraine's drone strike on Moscow once again, this time setting ablaze some of the city's most prized and expensive towers. What exactly happened? How did drones manage to penetrate deep into Moscow's defensive perimeter? What damage did they inflict inside those buildings? And what does it say about the future of warfare? In this narrative, we will walk through the scene, the internal aftermath, the performance of the drones, safety and defensive shortcomings, what sets these drones apart, the financial stakes involved, and a final reflection on the meaning of this attack. Moscow's skyline is legendary, a forest of steel and glass glimmering icons of Russian ambition. The towers struck in this incident were more than office blocks or luxury residential addresses. They were symbols of influence, wealth, prestige. When night fell and drones appeared in the skies overhead, those symbols turned into targets. The exteriors of those towers were built with reinforced structural steel, tempered glass curtain walls, and advanced facade engineering designed to resist wind, seismic shifts, and moderate explosions. But what no architect can fully guard against is a guided, precision aerial assault. As drones streaked in from unexpected angles, they pierced windows, smashed exterior cladding, and planted explosive charges. Fires erupted externally, flames leapt upward, smoke poured from shattered windows. The visual was apocalyptic, mirrored surfaces reflecting orange blaze, structural elements blackening, and the skyline temporarily transformed into a war zone. The sheer shock of seeing towers meant to represent invulnerability burning under assault punctures illusions of security. Inside, it's even more harrowing. The corridors filled with smoke, fire alarms screeched, sprinklers failed to contain the blaze in key junctions, and people inside scrambled toward emergency exits. In some cases, glass panels shattered inward under the pressure and heat, adding to the chaos. Elevators were disabled, leaving only stairwells for descent. Security and fire marshals rushed in, but the speed and intensity of the strike left little room for coordinated response. In offices and lobbies, ceilings collapsed, communications systems went dark or were overloaded, and thick dust mixed with smoke made navigation treacherous. Some interior walls buckled, floor tiles buckled under heat, and emergency lighting flickered or went out altogether. The human toll panic, injuries near. Misses is hard to quantify, but survivors describe a night of terror, confusion, and a scramble just to survive. The internal damage amplified the external destruction, hampering rescue efforts and raising serious questions about how safe modern skyscrapers really are under aerial attack. Turning to performance, these Ukrainian drones represent a frighteningly efficient blend of simplicity and sophistication. They flew long distances, perhaps 600 to 800 kilometers or more, to reach deep into Russian airspace. They employed stealthy flight profiles, flying very low, skimming terrain, hugging ground clutter to avoid radar detection. Many used autonomous navigation, relying on preloaded waypoints and inertial guidance systems, with backup GPS guidance and anti-jamming features. Their propulsion systems were compact, efficient, and quiet, enabling endurance and range without large radar or thermal signatures. When nearing target zones, they climbed slightly or executed terminal maneuvers, sometimes weaving or adjusting altitude to dodge point defenses. Onboard cameras or sensors guided exact strike points, critical window junctions, structural supports, or mechanical floors. The payloads were relatively small but well placed enough to breach facades, ignite internal combustibles, or cascade damage inward. All of this required no massive bomber, no heavy aircraft, and minimal support. The drones moved like ghosts, hitting hard and vanishing, leaving the defenders scrambling to react. In terms of safety or defense, this strike exposed glaring vulnerabilities. Russia's established air defense infrastructure, radar systems, surface-to-air missiles, anti-drone countermeasures was supposed to shield Moscow's core. But in this case, several of those layers failed. Radar either failed to detect the drones early enough, or misclassified them as low signatures or clutter. Interceptor systems like S-400 batteries or Pantsir gun missile systems attempted interception, but many drones slipped through. In some sectors, escorting radar coverage may have been overwhelmed or deliberately jammed. Some interceptors detonated prematurely or miscalculated trajectories. The dense urban environment also complicates interception. Radar line of sight is blocked by buildings. Anti-air rounds risk collateral damage. The result is that defense layers designed for conventional threats struggle against small, agile, low-flying drones. On the civilian side, safety procedures like evacuation plans and fire suppression are pushed to their limits. The speed of the strike left little time for orderly evacuation. Smoke travel through stairwells and ventilation shafts threatened exit routes. Fire suppression may be rendered ineffective if damage severs water lines or systems. The only precaution that worked was rapid response and disciplined drills in those towers, but even that operates at the edge of feasibility when attacks come unannounced in the night. What makes these drones uniquely dangerous is their combination of affordability, precision, autonomy, and stealth. Traditional aircraft and missiles come with enormous costs, extensive infrastructure, and high risk. These drones, built with relatively modest budgets, exploit gaps in defenses, infiltrate deep into defended zones, and deliver meaningful damage. Their autonomy means they can operate even under communications jamming or partial GPS denial. Their stealthy profiles let them slip past radar and interceptors. Their modularity allows different payloads for different targets: explosive, incendiary, camera, jammer, or reconnaissance. In an era of asymmetric warfare, they allow a less powerful actor to impose real costs on a stronger one. Ukraine's path here is not simply brute force but smart force, turning civilian and commercial grade components into battlefield assets. The psychological impact is vast, showing that even the capital city of a powerful state can be vulnerable, that expensive glass towers can be flush with fragility. The cost dynamics here are stark. Each drone might cost in the tens of thousands of dollars. Let's estimate $20, €0, €0 to $50, €0, depending on sophistication. Some may be cheaper, some with extra stealth or payloads more expensive. Meanwhile, the towers struck are valued in the hundreds of millions or even over $1 billion combined. The damage cascades: structural repairs, glass replacement, internal refit, loss of business, insurance claims, reputational damage, plus the terror and political cost. A few drones deployed strategically produce a multiplier effect on damage and disruption. That ratio, low input, high impact, is the brutal math of 21st century drone warfare. Stepping back, what does this strike mean strategically? First, it signals that no city is safe. Traditional urban strongholds are increasingly vulnerable to small, smart aerial threats. Second, it forces a reevaluation of air defense doctrine. Defenses must adapt to counter small, agile, stealthy drones, not just aircraft and missiles. Third, it exacerbates psychological warfare. Attacks on iconic towers are symbolic, shaking confidence, morale, and prestige. Fourth, it will accelerate drone development globally. Nations will invest more heavily in counter-drone systems, detection networks, electronic warfare, and hardened building design. Fifth, it reinforces that modern conflict is multidimensional: air, cyber, intelligence, logistics, public sentiment, not just front lines. In conclusion, Ukraine's renewed drone assault on Moscow towers is more than just another headline. It is a statement. The battlefield has shifted. Skyscrapers that once embodied dominance can burn under the precision strikes of autonomous UAV. The internal devastation, the failure of existing defense systems, and the cost asymmetry all point to a new reality. As drones proliferate and strategies evolve, future wars may be decided not by bombers or missiles, but by small flying machines and the minds that guide them. For Moscow, the firestorm is a wake-up call. For Ukraine, it is a demonstration of survival, innovation, and deterrence. For the world, it is a glimpse into what warfare looks like now and tomorrow.